See? Oh, you got it. Thank you so much. Hey, what's going on? Happy Wednesday, my beautiful little singlets. It is Wednesday, I don't know, someday in October, and I'm your girl, Elisa Perifico. Hello. I am the editor-in-chief around here at matchmakerreview.com. Hey there, sweet thing. Anyway, so I'm here helping you sweet things meet other sweet things in the time of the sweet things. And tonight, we're going to talk about dating after divorce, right? This is a pretty common topic, and I'm oddly pumped to talk about this topic because I think it used to have a really crappy stigma, and now it's just like with anything else, like you know somebody's been divorced or separated, or maybe they're on their second, third marriage, whatever. So, but here's a good thing, or here's a fun note, I should say. Dang, Mike. Here's one note I should say. Tonight's comic who's going to help me explain this is a really funny gal. Her name is Jen Kirkman. She's sassy, she's brassy, and she makes a total sense. So if you're a gal and you're over the age of 35 and you're either single or you've been in a previous marriage and it sucks, Jen speaks the truth, and she brings her situation forward about her recent life as dating after getting divorced, and what that's been like for her, and it's kind of sucked. And also you'll hear from some of our members as well as that same situation. So but what I wanted to bring it up, the good news I wanted to point out was last year was the first time in 50 years that this country had seen a decline in its divorce rate. And that's interesting. That's a good news. That means, less people are getting divorced, but it's still a large number. We're still looking at about 15% of the country at the very minimum is getting divorced at any given time. And so that's a lot. It's a large percentage of people who are either currently getting divorced or haven't made strides to start the second chapter in their life and really haven't taken the strides to give some strategy. So tonight, let's talk a little bit about if you're in the right place, because that's always a good thing to know. You're in the right place if you're divorced and you're looking to date again, right? There's no shame in you being married for a long time, and this is the first time you getting back out there. It's scary, and it can feel goofy and embarrassing, especially if you're an adult and you know how to do most things at this point in your life. If you've got to get back out there and dating again, it can feel a little bit like training wheels on a bike, and nobody likes that. B, you're exhausted from other dating methods. Maybe you've been divorced or you've been separated, and you've actually given this a whirl. Maybe you've gone out on dates. Maybe you've tried the apps. Maybe you've done the old-fashioned way. Maybe you called up the old boyfriend or girlfriend from however many years ago and gave that old wing around the rosy. But anyway, nonetheless, it didn't work for you. It sucks. You're just as lonely as you were before, and you're really ready to find this next chapter in your life, partner number 2, really find this next stride in your life to go the long haul. Or C, maybe you're here because you are ready to find something real, and you understand that you've tried these methods. It hasn't worked. You're exhausted and a little embarrassed, and frankly, you're ready to get some guidance. And so that's what we do here. Yay, which is fun. So if you're here, we'll give you tips for sure. At the end of our live today, I'll give you an activity on you can do is if you're divorced and you're considering dating, or you are dating or whatever, how you can measure where you're at. And the first activity you should do once divorced and ready to date again. So before we jump into all that good stuff, I want to take a little bit of a poll, take your temperature for those of you out there who are split from your loved ones or split from your ex and looking to create new love with a new loved one. What do you seek in your next relationship? And you may not have thought about this yet, but if you're divorced and you're imagining another relationship, chances are you already have a priority going into it, something that's really quite conditional to the relationship that definitely wasn't conditional in the first relationship you had. For example, if you're divorced, chances are you are bringing one of these 3 things as a conditional flag, conditional metric to your next relationship, i.e. A, your kids. If you have children and they are number 1 priority of whatever way, shape, or form, whether it's their location or their well-being or the time in general, if that's going to be a really heavy hitting point in your next relationship with whoever your partner is, that's important to note. Or are you B, is it the finances? Was your last relationship really stressful in the way that the two of you managed finances, and the next person you're with really needs to be in tune with you on the way that you guys are going to run your finances? Or C, is it health, right? Was the last person you with, was it just too many health scares? Were they unhealthy? Were they, or whatever the case, were you unhealthy? Whatever the case is that really a priority for you in the next relationship? So the reason I bring these three topics up for you guys to consider is because, especially when you're in this adult stage part of your life and your relationship, these are pillars that really shape you. And so they will shape your partner. And to not consider them is to be a little negligent at the end of the day, right? I mean, that's a little bit like pulling the fire alarm and everybody's running and being like, oh, why is everybody running outside? There's a certain point where you have to be accountable for yourself and really learn and grow from those things. So at this point, when you're going into your next relationship, are those points important? Yes. Should they be conditional though? No. And that's where we're going to talk about where you can have that flexibility, how you can use, especially if your children are important to you, especially if your finances are important to you, especially if your health is important to you, how you can use these foundational pillars as ways to find a good complementary partner instead of using them as driving conditional forces that somebody else needs to fit into, because that will never work. But you know that. Anyway, I kid and I tease, you know how I roll. So let's backtrack and do the good old opener, my favorite opener. I need to get myself a little dish rag because, this is our virtual bar here and this is Matchmaker Live, and I feel like I need to throw a little dish rag over the shoulder. Well, first and foremost, I need to send a congratulations to one of my besties who just had the most beautiful baby boy the other day. Oh my goodness, he's delicious. So congratulations to the Blacks. Michaela and Jason, we love you so much. Love you guys. Mwah. But anyway, speaking of family and love and togetherness, why are you here? If you're not in a relationship, if you're not married, if you're not enjoying new babies and you want babies, or you want just something different, then that is we're a good place to start. This is a good place to start, and asking why you're here is a good place to start. Finding a relationship, finding a decent dating experience starts with developing your introspective skills. That is not something we're taught in any way, shape, or form, not even our psychology classes. So here you go. Here is your love university. Here is Singles University, and we are giving you a clue on, no matter how old you are, where you live, what you think your dating struggles are. Let me be the first to tell you, everyone else has the same ones, and this is the first place where you can correct them. So activity number one, lesson number one, we're all about not only visualization here, but visualization that leads to manifestation, and not just in the I will visualize and it will manifest. Yes, that is true. But like literally, if you don't see it, some version of it, it can't happen. And this is true for anything you've done. Okay. This is if you're looking to achieve something real, something foundational, something lasting. Think of these things in your life. What else sounds like that? Is it your health? Is it your finances? Is it your family you were born with? What is it? But if you're looking for your foundational, rock solid relationship that's going to last you for the rest of your life, hello, that's a beautiful order, but a tall order. So let's give it the space and girth it needs to actually serve you. So off the soapbox for a second, but without the visualization of what that might feel like, look like, how it might be different from the last go around, you're not going to get there. And the really sad reality of that is you're going to turn around when it's too late and hope it was different because you were waiting for something to just hit you out of left field. We don't want that to happen. We're not letting that happen. If you're alone, you don't want to be alone. You want to find a wonderful love. You can do that. We do that here, and we do it quick. We do it effectively, and we do it on target. Woohoo! Sounds sexy, doesn't it? All right. So why are you here? We know that. So let's keep moving. Let's dive on to the next question, which is, so if you're divorced, a lot of times you might not even know if you're ready to date. Are you ready to date? This is a good question. Some of you should be asking yourselves this question. Some of you don't ask yourself this question. And some of you are overanalyzing it, right? And so it's a little bit of a double-edged sword in the sense that it really depends on why you got divorced and how you got divorced in terms of if you're ready to move on. But I will give you this. Think of it a lot like a wound. Okay, you fall and you scrape your knee wide open. Okay, and there's blood and it's coming out. So the best time to put something back on your knee is definitely not right away. It needs to scab. It needs to like heal for not forever and not even for that long of a time. Like there is a healing period, right? 6 months. Okay, let's just use that as a metric. So let's pretend your knee is this period between your divorce and you getting yourself back out there. This healing period, whether you think you need it or not. Think of it like your knee scabbing, right? Like there's your knee, it's created this scab. It's not the prettiest thing. It's definitely not healed all the way, but it's protected and it's doing its thing. And it's in that transitional space in between. So in a really weird way, if you can think of yourself like that you are not the best judgment. You are not the best person to judge your own character at this time. You're not the best person to give you perspective. You need to try and you need to put yourself into some different situations so you can get different results. So that doesn't mean being brash or fast, but it does mean being realistic. So understanding and embracing this middle period is super, super important. So if you're divorced, are you ready to date? How long ago were you divorced? That's the first question I'm going to ask you. How long ago? If we're talking within the last 6 months, no. Well, you're not ready to date. Not in a sense of everlasting relationship, but you could date in the sense of getting yourself back out there, getting yourself acquainted, getting yourself back in the system. It can be confusing, right? Especially if you've been in a relationship for a really long time. We can sometimes try and replace relationships with the other, especially if you're with somebody for 20 years and you become divorced and then you immediately meet someone else. It's very common to rebound, replace that next person with your mate and let them fill a lot of those holes, but that never lasts. And it's because they're not the same person, right? So we want to make sure we give enough space between each relationship for you to find your grounding so you can actually let somebody new in, so you can create something new and real together. Okay, so if it's fresh divorce within 6 months, you're going to need to give yourself some self-finding time and really evaluate why it happened and if it's the right time to do it. And in order to evaluate if it's the best time to do it, the question I would ask, which is the next one, is why did you get divorced? That is the main and I get it. This is not a sexy question. You want to ask yourself this question. But in order for you to date and in order for dating not to suck, you need to know the answers to these questions. You also need to not only know the answers to these questions, but not let them get you down. Because if you don't say them out loud and at least get to grips with them and get past them and get excited about dating in the somewhat near future, your dates, the people who you're going to be attracting can sense it. And it's not sexy. It's like dating Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Like nobody likes that. Like nobody wants to date that person. Like we get it. You have a sad divorce story. Welcome to everyone else's life. Like this is not, if anything, use it as a catalyst to bond with someone, right? And give yourself perspective and moving forward, because that's the energy that people want when they're dating somebody new. They don't want sad sob stories or life then. They want, okay, I learned this really great. This is going to be my new life now. And how can you be a part of it? So why did you get divorced? And if you've never verbalized it before, if you've never written it down before, this is your chance to do it. Why did you get divorced? Write it down and answer. Say it out loud. It's going to be the step that you need to do in order to get yourself out there and dating. And so once you've actually done that part, once you've actually understood, okay, why did we get divorced? Whether, it just we fell out of love with each other or somebody was unfaithful or, whatever the case is, whatever the reason is. Once we have cleared that and we've made peace with that, now we can actually understand what it is we want differently. Like we know what we don't want. So why did we get divorced? We don't want that to happen again. That was painful. That sucked. How's it going to be different next time around, right? Like we can't get something different if we don't imagine something different. So let's back backtrack with that just a bit. So how do we not repeat the same mistakes over and over again? Well, that kind of leads me into my next question is, what steps could your ex have taken to change the situation, if anything? And sometimes nothing at all. But this is a powerful question because this is the thing. And even though you feel so right in your part of the breakup, the ending of the relationship, the divorce, or even if you own your part that was wrong, you still own a part that's right as well. So really, if you can come to grips with that you might be wrong like altogether and just get your ego out of here, you will move on and you will move up so quickly and so thoroughly, in the sense that it's really going to help you get a grip on dating in the future. Because here's the thing, somebody new isn't going to be that much different than your ex. Like, yes, people are different. There's billions of people on this planet. But the patterns that you're going to face, the problems that you're going to face, these things are going to haunt you and creep back up again, because it has nothing to do with that person in particular and everything to do with the way you treat other people and the way you treat yourself. And so what this comes down to is, if you can recognize what patterns and what issues you need to work on as a person in a relationship about how to listen more, how to give back to that person with you, then you'll be able to start identifying that person more easily out in the crowd, right? Out in the sea. It's just like if you're a fisherman, and you fish for crab, you're out there fishing for crab. You're not fishing for any other fish. I literally have no idea how fishing works. But I don't know if you get all the fish, you throw back the ones that aren't crabs. I don't know. Do they? Do crab guys do that? I don't know. But anyway, but that's my point. It's like at a certain point, you're out there looking for a certain kind of fish, and it's because you know the value. The guys who find crabs, they know the value of that crab, and that's why they're out there looking for that. So what good are you out there just grabbing all this fish and not knowing the value of each one of them? No. You want to know what best fish is for you, and this is how you do that. So what steps could your ex have taken to change the situation, if anything? Really think that through. Put yourself, if emotion was taken out of it, time has passed to this point, if you could really neutralize the situation, if you could go back to that situation and look at it from above and be a floating body watching you two have the separation or the problems, what could you have done differently? What could you have done differently, or he, to keep you guys together? And a lot of what that will do is help you reflect on your behavior and what you can do differently in your next relationship. It'll also give you perspective on what you understand you can control and what you can't control. And what that means is it gives you, it helps you adjust your expectations. It helps you get grip on reality. So now you know, okay, this is what I can control and what I don't want in a relationship. And this is what I can't control and what I can embrace and what's beautiful in a relationship. And a very effective way to do that is to reflect on your past relationships, but you must do that with a realistic lens. Oh, gosh, I heard the phrase last night, Warsaw's lens. Oh man, I should have looked that up. No, it's not a Nostradamus lens. I can't think of the phrase right now, but my point is, you got to make sure you give yourself perspective so you can actually get something different next time, or else you're just going to repeat the same patterns and date the same person in essence over and over again. Okay, so moving this along, once you have come to grips with why you guys separated, and then you're like, what could have been different to save this, if anything? Now you're like, now we're moving the past relationship. That we're done. We're done with that. We're done with that activity. We're over that. Now what do you want? Now is the fun part. Okay, you're past the baggage. You're past the bullshit. What do you want in the future relationship? Now it's dream time, because you've done the work. You've done the realistic checking of the expectations. Now you're not going to daydream into something ridiculous. It's never going to happen. So, and the way that you can do that is, what are you seeking in your new relationship that's different compared to your previous relationship? And be specific about it, right? So if you're somebody that's looking to spend more time with your future partner, boil that down. What does that time look like? Is it weekends? Is it nights? How often? Where are you going places? Are you together? Are you working together? What is it? If your future partner is is treating you a different way. What is it? What are the situations and in what ways? And how is that making you feel? If you're not specific enough with this, you guys, it's not going to manifest specifically. And there's going to be all this room for error. I hope you see that, right? If you don't give it details, not conditional details, but again, some foundational outline. If you don't do this grounding foundational work, just like losing weight, just like getting healthy, if you don't have some sort of a workout plan, routine, mapped out situation to follow, you're not going to lose the weight, guys. You're not going to get healthy. You might do the workout a few times, but if you don't have a plan that actually is that you can follow through and see through, you're not going to see those results. Same with your relationship, guys. So giving it strategy, giving it that same contexture will help you actually succeed with getting something foundational, getting something different. So that starts with, once you get to grips with why you've been divorced, the second step we're doing is understanding what steps your ex could have taken, if anything, or you could have taken, if anything, to keep you guys together. And the third step that we're at is, what does our future relationship look and feel like that's different than before? And actually that moves us on to our next question, which is step 4, which is the feeling part of it. So first you're writing what you're visually seeking. Now we're moving on to what we're feeling. So how are you feeling in your future relationship that's different from your previous one? Like, go there, guys. This is relationships. This isn't contracting a house. Like, this is relationships. If you don't want to go there, if you don't want to go to the feely stuff, then you don't want a relationship. Okay. Just telling you like it is. Okay. I love you. I'm just telling you, I'm here for you. I'm here, you guys. Okay. But my point is, how are you feeling? Are you feeling appreciated? Are you feeling sexy? Are you feeling nurtured? Like, and be realistic. Like, nobody's being like all these things all day long. Like, what do you want your life to look and feel like? This is the time. Write it down. How are you feeling? All that good stuff. And that brings me into my last question. And before we jump into that, and then I'll go into the activity of how you can view, or how you can jump into dating after divorce. And then we'll look at, or we'll watch Jen chat and be funny about her dating experiences. But why is visualizing what you desire important? Okay. So when I think about this question, and again, this follows the theme of everything we've been saying. If you boil down anything you have ever succeeded at, that you have actually applied, maybe you've even failed at it, or you've done something consecutively and it's gotten you an achievable outcome. When you have done something like that, you have done some sort of visualization. If you are playing a sport, your coach has a playbook. You guys literally have a series of plays that you can follow and mimic to go get success. Like, literally, it's a playbook. So this is a playbook. And the idea that you don't need a playbook for your love life, and again, not robotic playbook, like you still need to interact with people, just like in real life, just like in the sports arena, you have a playbook, you follow a play, but you have to respond to the other team's reactions, right? You can't just like, you can play out the play, but you're going to, if you're smart, you're going to respond to the other team. You're not going to just keep going regardless of what happens. So the same in a relationship. Have a playbook, have things that you know are going to be successful, and then lead forward with those things, and then be agile when things take turns. So when you can visualize what's important to you, that's your playbook, right? When you're like, you know what? Yeah, my kids and my future relationship, that's important to me. My next relationship is going to be built around that. Okay, cool. That's your playbook. We're looking for somebody who either maybe has kids, has experience with kids, is open to kids. Like, these are your playbook. Or location, right? Maybe you're like, I'm moving, I want to travel, I need somebody who's traveling around with me. Boom, that's your playbook. Okay. You're not looking for stay-at-home Sally who doesn't want to leave her one light town, right? These are all things that it's okay to be a little bit pointed about, as long as you know what those foundational points matter. So that's why visualizing what you desire is so important. And I think, and again, let's go ahead and jump into watch Jen to give us some laughs on why she thinks she'll give some laughs and insights on why dating is hilarious right now. Go ahead, let's roll that tape. Oh my gosh, I love it. So funny, so sassy, so raw, but so real. And she's so great and fabulous because she really says it like it is. I've talked to so many women and men over the years who just that they've had that experience. No matter the age gap or age difference or whatever the case is, just the double standard about dating after divorce really, really sucks. And it doesn't have to be. And so I wanted you guys to hear Jen talk about that, mainly because she didn't do a whole lot of visualizing. And, but in this period though, that she's having this cougar time, which is fine. Like she mentioned, she went on a date 2 nights after she separated with her ex. And she's in that transitional time, right? That scab time that we talked about. And if she's going out, she's dating somebody new. Yeah, she's dating somebody that she knows she's never going to be with. And long term, as long as she communicates that to this person. But in reality, getting yourself back out there, you're going to have to hop back on a bike, tie some training wheels, and get yourself comfortable with that fact, and revisit yourself as a single person and what that's like on dates. And don't absorb the pressure of finding the right person perfectly right after your last marriage. That's just way too much pressure. So she really gives you, hopefully she gave you a really fun, light way of just giving yourself a break about whatever your dating situation's like or has been before, after your divorce. And I'm going to, before we jet out tonight, I'm going to give you guys a lesson on what you can do if you're freshly divorced, what you can do to get yourself back out there. Really a checklist, 5 steps that you can take to get yourself back out there after separation or divorce. And here they are. So number 1, first answer this question. How quickly do you actually imagine you're going to get yourself back out there on a date? Okay. And again, this can equate to that scab period. This can be you dating somebody who's not your forever ever after, but getting yourself out with someone, one-on-one, dinner, drinks, getting to know somebody, a date. How quickly do you imagine you're going to get yourself back out there? Are we talking weeks, months? Where are we? Number 2, after you write down how quickly you would like to see yourself on a date with someone, you picked a time. Question 2 would be, how many hours a week are you willing to set aside to actually make this happen? Okay. So if you're like, you know what, I want to get myself out on a date in a month. Okay. 30 days. All right. So if that's my goal, then what am I going to do? How am I going to make that happen? Right. Am I just going to sign up for some apps and sit here like this virtual damsel that I am? Please, no, barf. No, you're going to be proactive because you don't want a shitty experience, just like with anything else. So how many hours a week are you going to dedicate, or can you set aside to make this happen? And again, this is just like the gym. This is just like if you want the body, you want a healthy life, you gotta go to the gym. You gotta find time in your day to make that important if you want those results. So with dating, you got to find a couple hours a day, maybe an hour in the morning, whatever, an hour at night. And it doesn't have to be, this isn't labor, guys. You're not doing push-ups on the floor here. You are swiping on your phone while you're watching your stupid show. So you can do this. You got this. We got this. I believe in you. But seriously, like you can do this for an hour a night while you're doing something mindless. And as long as you have a strategy, a plan of what it is you're swiping or moving for, then you can actually be successful. But again, for this particular activity, dating after divorce, once you measure how quickly you want to get yourself back out there, i.e. within a month, 2, how many hours a week can you set aside to actually make this goal happen? Let's say, for example, 4 hours a week, 1 hour a night. I'm 1 hour, 5 hours a week. So 1 hour a night during the week. Let's not get crazy. Okay. So once I've decided that I'm going to get myself out on a date in 30 days, and I'm going to do this with 5 hours, 1 hour a night during the week. What am I going to do about that? So in order for you to actually start doing that, you got to join communities, and join 3 to 5 is what I recommend. And they're all the same, guys. Okay. I don't care which one Match. I don't care if it's Match or Bumble or our community, please. I don't care if it's your friends meetup group or some speed dating event. These are all groups of single people looking to date other single people. And so really it becomes you joining a certain amount of them and utilizing their tools in the best way possible. So once you have decided how long you're going to get out there 30 days. How many hours a week? 1 hour a night. Now you're going to join 3 to 5 dating communities, and that can be a website, that can be an app, that can be your friend's meetup group, that can be your thing next door, whatever. 3 to 5 of those single communities that you are going to actively spend that hour in, right? Or you're going to actively message people or go to a virtual event or whatever it is, but you're going to spend 1 hour with that said website, app, whatever it is. So once you've done that, the fourth step you're going to do is you're going to have to create some sort of profiles in whatever it is that you're doing, especially if it's virtual. If you have 3 people available, have one to 3 people that you know and love, mirrors, people that you trust. Check your profile, okay? Before you just put yourself out there, even though you know everything. I know you know everything about you and all your best angles. And I mean, you, right? But you don't. I love you, but you don't, right? And your friends and your family and all these people who will tell you they know you too. So let them check you, right? This is your future relationship. This is you turning a new leaf and finding a new relationship. Let them help you find the holes, because most people are taking selfies in the bathroom, and that's not the right place to do it. Or people are photoshopping the face, all the things. So have 3 people in your life, at least one person that you trust to be a mirror to you. Have them look at your profile. What's going on? Is it work? Have them give you your honest feedback, and that will help immensely. If you don't have anybody to give you feedback, or you only have one person, you want more, you guys can, that's what we're here for. You do that here in our community. You're going to book a call with us at meetamatchmaker.com. But we'll go into more of that in a second. But that's what you're going to do. You're going to find somebody to mirror. So after you've imagined how quickly you're going to get yourself back out there, how many hours a week you're going to dedicate doing this, you're going to join 3 to 5 dating communities, you're going to have 1 to 3 people check your profile, you're ready to rock. Okay. And again, this is all normal stuff, guys. We're going to make you fall in love with dating again. Okay. Like, it's supposed to be fun. Like, dating is fun. Hello. Like, it's love and relationships and sex and like life. It's the point of life. It's the only thing we're really supposed to biologically do. It's like our only purpose as beings is to just make more beings. So let's just get better at it. Like, there's no need to overcome anything you're doing that's not procreating is actually like busy work. Honestly, like, as amazing as you think it is, it's really just some sort of extending life. So get better at finding other partners, right? Like, this needs more of a push in your world, in your priority list here. So that's your dating after divorce activity. And again, if you have any questions with this, or you're like totally freaked out by it in any way, shape, or form, please come book a call with us at meetamatchmaker.com. Guys, it's so easy. Book a call. We're here. We're live. We chat with you. Love pros. We're a singles community. We have a vetted singles community. It's totally badass. Instead of all the weird, scary things that you're scared about on the internet, we have a virtual bar where we have virtual bouncers screening people in and out of the community. Okay. And that's, anything you could really be asking for. So put yourself into some situations where you're going to be successful, where you can actually be successful. And that starts with putting yourself in more like-minded foundational places like our community. We're singles. We're a fun singles game. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. We're a fun singles gang. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, come join us. We're fun. You can fill out your profile, meetamatchmaker.com. That is your next step. If it's not, then you're not ready to date. And that's fine too. But just don't be, what's the word? Don't be negative Nancy. I don't like that term, but just don't be whiny. Don't be hard on you get a certain window of being tough on yourself, and then you got to make some moves. You got to make action, because everybody else around you needs that to happen too. So your next step, go to meetamatchmaker.com if you haven't already joined our awesome singles community. We're totally a lot of fun. And we will set you up with a love pro or a bouncer to chat through your next singles journey, right? So dating after divorce, you've got your activity. Any questions? We're here for you. Please send all of your questions in, and we can't wait to meet you for in our world. And for next week's show, you'll just have to wait and see. Send in your questions. I'll see you then. All right, guys, have an amazing week and keep the love.